Hello everyone. My name is Tosin, and today I want to share something with any woman who is out there watching. This is mostly for women who are dealing with PCOS and also fibroids. So, this is my intro, and this is going to be a long video, mostly in parts. So let's just say this is our part one. So I'll have the remaining part, and then I'll share with everyone who is watching. So to those who don't know me, my name is Tosin, and today I'll be sharing my journey on PCOS and fibroids. Stay tuned. So today I'll be sharing my experience with fibroids and PCOS. And I know that there are a lot of women out there who are scared of what to do, how to begin. They have no idea even where to start. They have a lot of questions, but they don't know who to ask. And this is me sharing my own story on my fibroid surgery, because I removed fibroids and cysts. So if you're watching, my name is Tosin, and welcome. So for some people watching this video and do not know what PCOS means, it means polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I discovered I had PCOS years ago. But it came with its own challenges. It came with a lot of symptoms, from facial hairs to irregular periods to hormonal imbalance and overweight. So sometimes you might just see me blow up, and the next thing I have like a reduced size. But then again, PCOS was something that I managed for years, and having realized that I had PCOS, I had a lot of questions also. So I would say congratulations to any woman who is out there watching this video right now, because this video is going to be so helpful, just in case you are at that point where you want to make a decision, regarding removing fibroids or managing PCOS. But then again, I'm just going to share my own story. So this is my story, my experience. All right, so this is a huge disclaimer to any woman out there watching, or to any persons watching. Do not use my video, my experience, or the content I've shared to diagnose yourself. Please see a professional. See a medical doctor, your gynaecologist, your nutritionist, or your fitness coach. Make sure you see a professional before you do anything or take any decision. I am begging you. I am just sharing my own story. So this is a case where I want to encourage any persons out there. It's not something. It's not really easy for me to come out, sit in front of the camera, and talk about this. But I feel I need to do this. Not just because I feel it, but I know this would help a woman out there. So if you're watching, please ensure you see your gynecologist. Ensure you see your doctor. Ensure you see your nutritionist. Do not self-diagnose. I'm screaming this disclaimer out there. So do not say, oh, because you watched my video, this is what you did. I do not want problems in the future. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, so I really need to feel comfortable sharing this story. So let's get into the real video. So this is me, and I discovered I had PCOS years ago, and along the line it began to affect my health. So I began to realize that my period was ceasing. I also began to realize that I had facial hair, and I think the period where I discovered that my period was ceasing was between 2014 2015, and then I thought it was something that was normal. I thought it was a normal thing. And for women, because of the way our bodies react and our different bodies behave, you just assume that, oh, maybe when this is not there. It's yippee. Oh yes, I'm free. It was it became worrisome at a point. So I did some lab tests, and I did the results came out. So I did lab tests for pregnancy, and it was negative. Everything was negative, from the strip to the lab to everything was just negative. So it wasn't pregnancy. And why am I saying this? Because at that time I thought it was pregnancy. I thought I was pregnant, and it was not pregnancy. So not seeing the period at that time now became worrisome. So so it was worrisome, but I didn't pay attention to it. And at the point again, it became okay. So at a point, I was worried that my period was not showing up, and I needed to, know what's going on. So I consulted different doctors. I had different appointments, and all of that. So it got to a point at that time during this whole thing on period not coming, period not showing up, and then I also realized you know what, I need to think. I'm sorry, but I know I'm going to edit, so I'm just being free. All right, so I think I'm back now. Yes. So at the point where I realized that my period was not consistent, then I consulted different doctors. So during this period, it was a case where I was looking for solution. I was worried, terribly worried, and looking for solution, but I didn't have answers. So there was a time where I started having skin patches. So skin patches, I would just describe because I no longer have them. But at that time, I would have patches all over my chest, and then it began to spread to my arm, and then my arm sleeves, and it was terrible. So I could not wear clothes that would show my back, show my front. I was not feeling comfortable again in my skin. I thought it was my bed sheet, I thought it was the towels, but it was nothing close to that, because I was very, very particular about what was going on with my body, or what was going on with my skin. So I then consulted a skin doctor that year, and I went for consultation. So it was during my session that the doctor told me that it was not a skin condition, that I needed to see a gynecologist. So I booked an appointment with a gynecologist that year, and I think this was around 2016, thereabouts. I think so. 2016, 2017. I might not be specific, but I know this was the period when I was dealing with a whole lot. So so after I met with the doctor, I went to the lab for some tests. So this set of tests that I now did was different from the previous ones that I've been doing. So I've been doing the tests, yes, by the other doctors, but this one was now different. I had to do OTT, or was it OGTT? I had to do hormonal test, is what I would call it. So I had to do hormonal test. I had to do other tests inclusive. And when the results came out, I went back to the doctor to book another appointment, and he then explained the results of the tests to me. And then he told me that I had hormonal imbalance. Then he mentioned the cyst. So he talked about the cyst. I think the size of the cyst showed in the scan, the size, what it looked like, what it was, everything was there. He explained to me. At this point, I was shaking. Then he mentioned that, okay, so that I'm also lactose intolerant, and so those three reports just broke me. It's really shattered me, and I didn't even know where to turn to. And this was the doctor telling me what to avoid in terms of food, what to do. At that point I knew that yes, anything sweet, like ice cream, cake, those things, just avoid, because there was no point. That was the reason why That, I mean, when the session took place at that time, it was just something that it dawned on me. It came to me, but I did not understand one bit. I didn't. So at a point, I didn't even hear anything again. I was just, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was just saying, oh my god, in my head. And yes, so that happened, and I went home. I didn't understand anything the doctor said, honestly. He explained to me, but I didn't even understand one bit because everything sounded new to me. It wasn't something that I've heard before or something that I've maybe come across before. So it was a case where I was just like, why is this happening to me? When you get to that point in your life and you ask yourself, why is this happening to me? So that was the question going on in my head. A very big question I didn't have any answer to. But then again, yeah, so I mean the session, of course, ended with the doctor. I went back home asking myself questions. I didn't even know who to ask. I didn't know where to turn to. So it was a difficult period. Yes. So back to my story, regarding PCOS, and at the point where I was told lactose intolerant, hormonal imbalance, irregular periods, avoid this, avoid that, everything just sounded to me like it was music, like it was just sound. I didn't understand a bit. So did I take the doctor's report serious? Yes, because I was scared. And at that point, he also described the size of the cyst. The cysts were already forming or already formed, the size, what it looked like. And at that point, he did mention that it wasn't surgical, so it was something I could manage with food. So when he gave me that, like I said, I didn't even know who to ask. I didn't know anyone who understood what I was going on. But it was just me in my head and in my world thinking about what the is this? Like, what is this? So fast forward to 2018. Yes, fast forward to 2018. It was at the beginning of the new year. So I attended a women's hangout. It was a women's hangout, and it was at that event I met a lady, Oshuwari. Her name is Oshuwari. Yes. So that was when I met Oshuwari. So she came late. And when the usher was to assign a seat to her, they assigned a seat just right beside me. So while we were all talking, sharing our stories, and everything, she then mentioned PCOS, and then I looked at her. I was like, did I just hear what you said? And that was the first time since I've been dealing with this PCOS thing that I saw someone in publicly talking about PCOS. So it was that day I got her contact, spoke with her, and then I told her about what I was going through and all. So after that point, she introduced me. She referred me to a nutritionist. So I was then referred to the nutritionist. I also, showed all my test results because I had the test. Remember I talked about the lab test that I did, where the doctor explained to me what exactly it was. So I had all that test and I shared with the nutritionist. So it was then the nutritionist now broke everything down based on my blood type, my genotype, my blood group, based on my results. So this is the reason why I gave the disclaimer earlier that this is my own story. So it is best that you see your doctor, regarding this issue on PCOS and fibroids. See your doctor. Do not use this video as a point to self-diagnose. It is wrong. So I would advise that you please see your doctor. So back to my story. I met with a nutritionist, and then she gave me a breakdown of what I needed to do, because I mentioned to her at that time that I tried everything. I was taking supplements, I was taking medications, I was taking a lot of things just so to get my body back, but nothing was giving me the result I wanted at that time. And this, when you are trying everything, you need to just ensure that you're looking for results. So, and let me just quickly divert to the period when I had the skin patches and how it's even cleared. So I went to the clinic, and then I was told it was not a skin issue, but I was given medication and body cream to use. So was prescribed, and I went to the pharmacy, and then I got it, and within days, it's everything all cleared off. So going back to that was when I met with the gynecologist, who then referred me to go to the lab to do some tests. It was the result of that test that I was now told by the doctor that I had that I am lactose intolerant, and I have irregular periods, hormonal imbalance, don't eat this, don't eat. So there was that result that gave me the explanation of what I've been looking for years. So what was going on with me? So that also compounded to the fact that it was a reaction, or was something that was showing up on my skin. Are we together? Like, I just quickly had to mention how the skin cleared, because there was no point going to the skin doctor, and the skin doctor said, well, it was not a skin issue, and it was something that was related to my health. So now back to 2018. Now we're back to 2018. So I met with the nutritionist, yes, and I was given my results. Yes, so the results from our consultation and everything came out. And then while all of this happened, I did explain to her that I tried everything in terms of medication, in terms of supplement. I'd done everything possible to get my body back. So, and this was when the opinion of let us try something new came in, and the something new she suggested was my food. So she placed me on a vegetarian diet. Guys, this was another period where I was like, hey, Johnny Lord, like, help me, please, in the name of God. What is really going on? What is really going on with me? And at this point, you just begin to wonder that why is all of these things happening? I'm smiling, I'm laughing today, not because it's funny. Then it was terrible. So if I'm smiling, or is my smiling about this story or laughing about it, it's because I've been able to conquer certain fears to get to where I am today. So if you're watching and you're at the stage where you are trying to figure everything out, I assure you that if you speak with the right people, which is the doctor, the nutritionist, and every other medical advisors you need to speak to, you will definitely get the results you want. But then again, this is my story, so I need to share it the way I can, so that it is more relatable with anyone who is watching out there. So back to the nutritionist. It was then she said that I needed to change my food. I needed to change my diet. And when diet also came at that time, I thought it was going to be keto. I thought it was going to be lose weight or anything. It wasn't anything close to that. She placed me on a vegetarian diet. And when I saw the document, when I saw everything, I was like, so I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Everything, it became funny, but it was not funny because this is me, at that point where I just needed someone to like put me through, like explain to me in details what is going on. And when I saw that document, when I saw the whole report, when I saw everything, I actually pushed it aside. I said, this is not for me. Èmi máa fi oúnjẹ tí mo mọ̀ máa fi sílẹ̀, máa ṣe wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa jẹ oúnjẹ tí mi ò jẹ rí. For those who don't understand Yoruba, it's what I said is that, so I'm going to leave all that the meals that I know, I'm going to leave them, and then I will start to eat what I'm not used to. And that was the state at that time. So it was a case where everything that I had known, well, not everything, but most of the things that I had known or eaten, I would have to leave them and then begin a new diet. So this was me in my head now thinking, where will I start from? What will I do? And I began to ask questions. So I spoke with my friend Remy Owadokun, And then I told her about it. So when we put me through, vegetarian diet, I was doing a lot of research online. Oh my God, YouTube. And then whenever I traveled, I'll ensure that I buy magazines. So and at that point I was going to Jersey a lot of times. So at the duty free I would buy magazines because they actually have a plant-based society or community in South Africa. So I would buy magazines just so I can read about them, know what it is, read more about the diet plan. And all in my head, I didn't even know where to start, or I didn't know how to start. So fast forward to 2019, March 2019 was when I decided to start the diet. And when I started with carrots. The fruits, vegetables that I know was what I started with. I At that time I've never tasted broccoli or any other thing, so I just cauliflower and the rest of them. I started with what I knew: carrots, oranges. When it comes to fruits and vegetables, I just started the ones that I was familiar with. And even along the line, I was referred to someone who would then make my meals for me. So at that point, whenever I reach out to the person to make my meals would always arrive at my place very late, and it was not convenient for me because that means I would starve from morning till whenever the food arrives. So the food would arrive in the afternoon, and I said to myself, this cannot continue. So, and this was me, at that point where I just needed to do something for myself. So I started learning how to make my meals, started learning the diet, understanding it, reading about it, doing a lot of research online, magazines, books. I did a lot of things. I even bought cookbooks inclusive. So that same month, which was the month where I changed my diet from what I was used to the vegetarian diet, was the same month my period came. Yes, my period came that month.